Welcome everybody to episode 11 of Monster Hunter 2. Last time we fought Kushala. I already uploaded that episode. There was a switch around with the Kazu episode. Technically, last time we did the Kazu, but I kind of switched the episodes, so yeah, I don't care. There's not really that much which happened. The only thing that did happen is let's look at the equipment. I got the Eager Cleaver from killing Kazu. I had to kill a ton of Kazu for it. A ton. And I don't want to kill any more Kazu for it. I'm done. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. The Eager Cleaver is Thunder Element. I don't know if you can see this. It has a little bit more in raw, but it has 340 Thunder Element, which is really good. A lot of monsters are weak to Thunder, especially coming up. Starting with our monster of today, which is the Rathian. So let's hunt a Rathian today. Why not? I haven't hunted a Rathian in a while, especially in old school Monster Hunter. So let's hope this turned out well. I really want to finish offline before I go into online at all. Online is kind of weird. The problem is online requires a bunch of grinding, which is okay, I guess. I'm not that much into the grinding aspect of the online, especially Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter 2. I want to do it at one point, just so I can get into the later parts of the series. So yeah, Rathian wasn't really a part of Monster Hunter 1 offline, except for that one quest together with Rathalos. So, but this one's special. I like the transition there. We should be able to do this with the Eager Cleaver. Really? Because it's Thunder Elements. Rathian is famously, I can't talk today. Famously weak to Thunder Elements, so... So, in theory, we should be able to do this. I'm a little bit nervous because it's, you know, the first Rathian we fight, and nothing has ever been easy in this game, really. Nothing has been easy in this game so far. And yeah, as you might notice with the series, I'm getting a lot more angry with the monsters. That's just based upon how much time I spent already on this series. And it feels a lot like you're treading water. Like, a lot. Like a lot. Like, seriously. That's what I don't like about the game the most, is the amount of grinding you need to do. Obviously, I did decide to get the Eager Cleaver early. I could have waited. But the thing is, my weapon wasn't really doing the numbers that I really wanted it to. And in order to upgrade, I would have had to fight Kushala. The real version, not the just repelled version of Kushala. And without a thunder weapon, that would be horrible. Like, I've already fought... We already repelled Kushala in the last episode. Like, if I didn't have a stronger weapon, imagine how horrible Kushala would be without a stronger weapon. And yeah, this weapon did require me to fight at least 8 Kezu and do at least 20 runs through the jungle. Because it required 20 Machalite ore, which is really, really low in the jungle, especially in terms of acquiring rates. It's pretty low, so that you get at least one. If you're lucky, you get one per run. So I have to do that 20 times. Which is okay, it wasn't too long, because you can just do the Velocidrome quest. And just, you know, gather the ore and then beat Velocidrome in like 5 seconds. But it's still grinding you need to do. You know what I mean? And yeah, the worst part were the Kezu. By a long shot. And yeah, you don't have a fire weapon as well. Especially in terms of long swords, you don't have a fire weapon so far. And yeah, the next fire weapon requires the same as Eager Cleaver. And I can't upgrade that yet because I haven't fought the monsters for that yet. And all of them unlock after this point, where I'm currently at. So I can't get a strong fire weapon to make the thunder weapon. Like, the weapon balancing is way off in this game. I like the game for what it is, don't get me wrong. I like the game a lot, actually. Except this one, where I get bodied into a corner. Yeah, no. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. The game does that a lot too, as well. I noticed recently, like, where it just bullshits you into a corner and you're just supposed to take it. I've had that with Kezu a lot. I'm sorry, but that's not a situation that should happen. If you want a fair fight, that's not a situation that should happen at all in Monster Hunter. It should have at least... Here's the thing, moments like these should at least give you a chance to get out of it by yourself. Through clever playing. But there was no chance I could have gotten out of this. At all. That's the thing that irks me the most. And I feel like a lot of people love to defend Monster Hunter old school in terms of this. But the encounter design is really, really not great. I even find the encounter design in Monster Hunter 1 to be a little bit better than in Monster Hunter 2, really. And don't get me riled up about it. The major talking point people like to bring up about immersion. Oh my god, that's such fucking bullshit argument. I'm sorry. I always try to call it out when I can, because immersion is just a stupid argument that's made by people who don't know anything. Like, here's the thing. Immersion is a thing that is personal to you. It doesn't define a game at all. Immersion is what you let yourself be immersed in. That's it. Like, you can get immersed into all sorts of things. That's the main issue. Like, everything can be immersive. Every game can be immersive because it depends on how you are going to let yourself get immersed into something. And yeah, cries that take way too long from monsters are less immersive for me. I've seen people argue that, oh my god, these old games are so much more immersive and stuff. And it's like, no, they aren't. There's so many systems that just take me straight out of my immersion. Like, every time a monster does a bullshit combo, that immediately straight takes me out of my immersion. That's a problem because it's a huge personal thing. Here's the thing, to me, or I'm going to give you another example. I didn't take antidotes with me, which is just sad. Just sad. To me, Rise is more immersive than World. You know why? Because I love the combat in Rise. It just takes me straight into the game. It lets me play the game. I'm playing the game. And I just can shut everything else off while I play Rise. That's what's called immersion for me. Like, yeah, I can shut everything else off and yeah. Game that is immersive does that to me. And it's usually good gameplay that does it to me. And that's a problem. I feel like a lot of people are like, love to look at pretty graphics and pictures to get immersed. Which, you know, as a process, I don't really get. But yeah, I don't really get it as much in Monster Hunter Old School. There are definitely fights where I'm completely immersed. Don't get me wrong. Like, fights that are tense. What gets me most into the immersion and where I say that's a good thing is fights that are generally hard, but they don't feel like bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of fights in Sunbreak especially where I, at least on first try, was struggling with the monster to a point where I carded twice and really had to engage into the game mechanics. I really had to learn the game mechanics on my third card, on my third try, before I carded the last time. I really had to power through in order to still make it. And I did. And that was great, because it immersed me into the fight. I really was struggling on the first two tries, and then I was like, now I'm going to do this. And I managed to do this because the fights were actually fairly designed. You get what I'm saying? Whereas I'm going to look at something like Kezu. And Kezu has these weird this weird combo that he can do that just instant kills you. it's instant kill. I haven't found a way around it. It's basically like it cries, then it does a normal attack, mostly the bite attack it does, and then it sends a electro fireball right after you, electro ball right after you, and you can't dodge that because your hunter doesn't get up quick enough. You know? And every time stuff like this happens, for example, stuff like this, where, yeah, if I hadn't had iframes there, that would have taken me straight out of the fight, really. Oh, come on. The monster cries take me straight out of it in this game, especially. Because they are lasting way too long. In my opinion. Especially Kazu's. You are stunned for like 20 seconds after that. And there is no way you can escape it unless you are standing at a weird angle to Kazu at the moment of the cry. And that's the truth. When a fight is designed fairly, it immerses me a lot. Because, you know, basically me and the monster. That's why I love the series so much. It's you and the monster. In a fair fight to the death, you know? That's what I like about this series. What doesn't immerse me is a bad fight, where a monster does a combo that instantly cards you. I'm going to take another example. That one Gravios fight that I had in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I think it was high rank Gravios, was completely bullshit. He did a infinite combo that basically I couldn't avoid. Really. And he did that 3 times after one another. You guys didn't see that episode. In the episode, because I cut it out. But he did his combo. I think it was, I think his rolling attack and then his laser beam that instantly cards you. And he did that combo 3 times in this fight. And I carded 3 times. That's stuff that takes me out of the immersion, and that's where I have to say that's a bad monster. Especially if it happens multiple times during a fight. Like, here's the thing, Rathian is a great monster. That bullshit stuff only happened once so far, and I'm like, yeah. I can deal with that, like, I can mostly avoid the bullshit stuff by playing better. And if that's the case, I like the monster, really. If I can avoid the bullshit stuff by playing better, then it's a great monster. Seriously. But especially corners in Monster Hunter Old School are kind of weird. If you're backed into a corner, a monster can do an infinite loop of attacks that instant cards you, and that's not really great. So yeah, I went on a huge tirade, a huge rant in this episode. And yeah, we are going to have to fight another bad monster soon. Probably. I'm not sure how bad Blangonga is in this game. I just know that I didn't like it in Generations Ultimates, and I'm not sure how well it's going to do in this game. I hope it's not as bad as Generations. Ultimate 1. I really hope it's not as bad. I really didn't like the Gen U Blangonga. So yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier. That's why I find immersion such a bullshit, because that can change to each different person. You know, people draw a lot of immersion, for example, out of the preparation aspect, you know? Which I agree, that can be pretty immersive. Unless I have to grind for 50 hours and have to do the same quest over and over again until I can actually get all the items I need. Then it breaks the immersion, because it's not like I'm preparing, it's just grinding. And I feel like people like to harp on gamey aspects of other games really a lot. But don't see grinding for some reason as too gamey. Like, oh yeah, I had to grind 20 hours for this. Is like a thing that doesn't break the immersion for some people, which is weird to me. You know? I generally don't like games that force you too much grinding. A little bit of grinding I can get. Like, they want you to really learn a monster before you can get the armor and stuff. And I agree. That's generally great game design. If you have to learn a monster to make it easier. You know, you have to fight a monster multiple times. By the way, that's Rathian for you. But yeah, I just wanted to talk in this episode about immersion a little bit, because it always irks me when people use that as an argument for something. Here we go. That's a Rathian. It always irks me a little bit when people use immersion as an argument for why a game is good and why a game is bad, when it's such a personal thing. It's so personal. I can draw immersion, boatload of immersion out of games you wouldn't have, you wouldn't even think about. Like, yeah. It's such a bullshit argument that I kind of wanted to talk about it in this episode while we hunt a Rathian. Rathian wasn't too bad. It's a Rathian. It's mostly the same fight that we already had. Problem is, we will have to eventually focus on cutting the tail next time. Didn't even see that icon. That's a crazy icon for a Rathian. Holy fuck. That icon goes hard. Here we go. That's Rathian for you. Let's see what's going on in the village. I want to produce more Monster Hunter 2 episodes, but grinding keeps me usually from doing that. We're still during breeding season. I don't think anything changed with Rathian. I think the big monster we need to hunt is... Oh, yeah, we can hunt the pink Rathian. Holy fuck. No, I don't want to. I really don't want to. So yeah, the big monster is the Blangonga, probably. I don't really... I'm not looking forward to that. But let's see what the armory has for us. So yeah, to upgrade to Devil Slicer, I would need Dragonite Ore. That's why I'm keeping off on that. It does have way more Raw and Thunder, which is really, really great. But I'm keeping off on that because Dragonite Ore, I would need the next one. And again, 20 Machalite Ore. Here's the problem that I have. Even in this one, I upgraded this Bone Katana. This needs 8 Machalite Ore, which is okay. But this also needs 15 Machalite Ore. That already puts me at 23. If you do that with this one, it's 20 more even. Like, that's a ton of grinding if I would have to do it right now. And yeah, this one doesn't even have fire element. I think that one gets fire element, if I'm not mistaken. Can I forge more weapons now? No, I can't. Still can't forge any new weapons. So yeah, that's the weapon stuff. Let's look at the armors. We can get Kushala armor, which has like recovery speed, terrain, heat resistance. Also has really, really high defense. But we can't really make it because I think it needs Dragonite ore for all of them. Rathian mail. Actually a little bit weaker, but it has earplugs and health. And I probably won't grind it out. You don't even know how many sunlight stones I have. Just from grinding Machalite ore. Like, holy fuck. So yeah, this one. Yeah, it has natural earplugs, which is really good. Sometimes. I don't really like it as much. I don't even know what does Kezu have. Recovery speed, terrain, wide range. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about the armor so far. So yeah, all I'm going to say is thank you for watching this episode and my rant about immersion. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more Monster Hunter content, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. And until next time, goodbye.